work through it. Morning, everybody. How you all doing? Had to switch laptops today, so if there's a bit delay, Thomas Barrier catches up because he's that wise and that smart. How's everybody? We got a lot going on today. We have two guests. Valeria Rayner's coming on today. That's our sister from North Carolina, and she's going to be talking about the Be the One project, which brings awareness to veteran suicide. Their annual ride is next week Saturday. So we got her coming in early. Matter of fact, she's here now. Morning, ma'am. How are you? What's going on, sis? All right, I think you're on mute because I'm not hearing a word you're saying. Yeah, you got to take yourself off mute. Thomas, are you hearing her?
No, I can't hear it. So, Valerie, when you came in, did you give app permission for your microphone?
I did.
Oh, there you go. Now
okay, there you go.
Yeah. Technology
your mouth was moving. We didn't hear nothing. We're like, oh, where's she at?
Yeah. Technology take a few seconds to catch up.
Especially when we get older. We don't know what the hell we know.
Exactly. And that's why I do not want to upgrade this.
So I was
everything's going good.
Introducing you and what you do. So
Okay.
I'm sorry, there's a bit delay. So pause, give me about 3 seconds, and there's a bit of delay from my end to you because I had to change laptops for the day. So just give me about 3 seconds after I stop moving my mouth, and you can hear everything I'm saying. I was just introducing you and what you do. So you came in right on time. Just wanted to talk to you about what you do and how the Be the One project in North Carolina is something spectacular as it aims to help veterans suicide prevention. I know your event is next week, Saturday. Talk to us about what you got going on.
Okay, thank you very much. So my name is Valerie Rayner. I am with the American Legion Department of North Carolina, and I serve as the co-chair for our department's Be the One committee, and I'm also the co-chair for our 4th annual Be the One Suicide Prevention Charity Ride and Day event. Basically, this is an event to bring awareness to suicide prevention. Everybody always talks about suicide awareness, which is all and good, but we all know that suicide awareness is often talked about after the person has taken their life. My goal is to bring awareness and get help to those before they get to that point. And this actually came about 5 years ago, February, when I found out that a former soldier of mine had taken her life to suicide, and she had left behind 2 small children. So that was devastating in its own, because she was the type of young lady that always had something nice to say, always kept me laughing. She was my rock to go to, so I didn't strangle nobody, because y'all know soldiers, your underlings, they can try you. They can try you. So it really made me wonder what pushed her to that point that she felt like she didn't want to live anymore.
I feel that. Death is something that hits us all in various ways. Just found out on Tuesday, a young man that worked for me passed away. It wasn't suicide, but still, he still lost his life. And it was totally unexpected. I had a friend in Carolina, actually former Army. We got to talk about that. Maybe we're talking about the same person, to be honest with you. And she took her life as well. Yeah. And this was, about 4 or 5 years ago. Because I talked to her right before I moved to Charlotte. And she seemed all bubbly and fine and stuff. And next thing I know, her cousin, I met her through somebody. She told me that she had taken her life, and it was totally out of the blue, and totally unexpected. But these are the scars that folks come back home with that people never see. People never know. They see your physical scars. They see your physical limp. They see how you may withdraw a little bit differently and stuff like that. But they never see those scars that are in your soul or in your heart. And that's why the work that you do is so important. Uh, I know you're the co-chair of the project. What do you see the future of the project being?
I see this becoming a significant. Is going to play a significant part in the community. We are going to continue to do the work and bring suicide prevention and suicide awareness to the forefront. My co-chair, John Potter, the first year we did the charity ride, which it started out as a ride, now it's a whole day event with a car, truck, bike, and Jeep show and vendor event. But the same year we did the ride, my co-chair's son took his life on New Year's Day.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and he had came home for the holidays and went back out to 29 Palms and did what he did. And they're still dealing with it. But we're all being transparent about the subject matter at hand, because mental health is very real. I'm totally transparent when I talk to people. I have PTSD, I have anxiety, I have depression. I have those moments where I don't want to be around people. And when I start feeling like that, I dial it back, get myself together, and then I re-enter people. I re-enter being around people. So, and I also don't put myself in situations that's going to trigger my anxiety.
So to that point, I had my evaluation this week. And one of the things that came out of that was the fact that I do have anxiety, without a doubt. And I'm in the office, and Doc has the damn windows wide open, the window shades wide open, and got me sitting with my back to the windows. I'm like, I can't sit here, bro. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, what you mean? Bro, I cannot sit here. I need to sit over there, so at least I have visual out of these damn windows. Because my mind right now is on, what if a sniper is out there? How do I need to move? I'm looking for movement in the bushes. I'm looking for all of that. Yeah, dog. I ain't fooling around with you, dog. We ain't doing that. What's wrong with you, man? And he like, you, yes, dog. Like, this is real life. Like, I don't do stuff like that. Yeah. So
and that drives my husband crazy, because whenever we go to a restaurant, I have to sit where I can see all exits and windows. He was like, babe, I'm your protector. I know, but I'm gonna be your protector as well. And but I can't do it. He's getting better with it. Beforehand, he could not stand it. He's getting better with it.
I totally dig it. I can totally understand it.
So can I jump in for a quick second?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the first question I got for you, Valerie, in your background there, is that a Dallas Cowboy?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yes, that is a Dallas Cowboy.
Lord have mercy. Don't talk about the trash.
Well, no, we're talking about greatness here. We ain't talking about the trash is the Ravens. Now,
but we shut Cowboy Stadium down, dog. Let's be clear about that. We shut Cowboy Stadium down. Back to back running touchdown.
That was called charity. Now, I see the blue in the back, so I'm loving the blue. So I'm with you 100%.
Thank you.
I believe in prevention as well, and I definitely would love to connect with you. I have a platform that I've developed, and we're trying to make sure that we have 24/7 mental health supports for people who may be feeling suicidal, folks who are depressed, etc. And I think that the watch. And I know that veterans also have run-ins with law enforcement more than the average citizen as well. For some reason, they're threatened by you all. Maybe because y'all the real soldiers and they're not. That could be it. Y'all actually shoot at people that shoot back, and they just shoot at people who ain't got guns. But that's neither here nor there. But I wanted to make sure that I could get your information and connect with you as well as your co-partner, because I believe that, especially for our community, the Black community, prevention is everything. We always talk about things after the fact, and we know that certain things are upon us, and then we always say, well, why didn't we do it? It's like, well, we know when people come home that they're not getting the full support from the U.S. government, that they put their bodies and their minds on the line. So we should be able to have things aligned to make sure that our people are okay. A lot of the homeless in this country are vets who are dealing with some of the mental ailments from the theater of war as well. and we have not done a great job, in my opinion, of taking care of our people, because a lot of them are our people.
Mhm.
I would love to join in. I remember we had you on last year, and I
Mhm.
was just amazed by the work that you guys decided to do, because it takes courage to step up and say, "Hey, we want to make sure that we don't allow this to happen in our time, and that we cut back on this, and we let everybody know that it's a community." So once you're what you guys would consider discharged, does not mean that we're done with you. It
Mhm.
just means that we're going to continue the brotherhood, the sisterhood going. So I appreciate you, and I just wanted to salute you for that this morning.
And all the proceeds that we raise go to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention North Carolina chapter.
Yes,
And they have resources available, not just for veterans, but for EMTs, law enforcement, doctors, nurses, people of everyday walks of life and all of that. And that's one of the reasons why I chose that organization, because I just didn't want it to be compartmentalized into one group. I wanted it to be able to reach out to the masses. So yeah.
all right, and I'm with it. So yeah, so if you don't mind, I'm gonna have my brother Lee make sure that he facilitate the exchange. And let's just hop on the Zoom. I'm not just blowing smoke up, to just say it. I think that there's some synergy there, because, you know, once again, connected wise, mental health is real, and
Yes, it
people,
is.
common everyday folks are feeling suicidal, based off of, not being able to, put food on the table, or because of, just experiences and things that they witnessed throughout life. So I just want to salute you for it. I'm hearing that it went from a ride to now you guys got a car show, you guys got vendors, you got more people chiming in. And so let me ask you, as far as when you guys are doing this, how are the politicians inside of Carolina? How are they responding to what you guys doing? Are they supporting you?
Well, last year we had, because like I said, it's a 6 county law enforcement escorted ride.
Okay.
So last year we had the Cumberland County commissioner chairperson come out. This year, one of his actual members of the commissioners, he's going to be there.
Okay.
I think the mayor of Fayetteville is going to come out this year, because we crossed paths on Thursday morning, Wednesday morning, no, Thursday morning. He was leaving. We got there at the same time. His interview was before mine, and mine was after. So we talked for a few minutes, because he asked me what I was going to be talking about, and he was like, "Oh, well, send me your information." I said, "I will do," and I did. And the mayor of Selma, when I tell you Mayor McAllister has went above and beyond. This man is working on getting his daughter's high school band to be out there playing music. He got the fire department. He got the sheriff's department. He ain't told me if the county commissioners for Johnston County has arrived yet, but he's working on it. And we had a situation where we didn't know if we were going to be able to use the stop pickup point up there in Selma. Him and his team was working on something. He calls me. I have his personal cell. He called me. He said his whole team had stopped what they were doing, and they were in the process of trying to find a backup location for us to come off the interstate for this. We get to Goldsboro. We have the mayor pro temp. She's going to be there, as well as she's bringing another one of her members with her. When we get down to Jacksonville, we have the county commissioner for Onslow County, and city councilwoman Cindy Weeks, and Onslow County Commissioner Royce Bennett. So yeah, we even reached out to the governor, but we did it too late. So his calendar was full. And he did say that, we get in touch with him in time next year, he would be there. But this year's been a challenge, because last month on the 12th, unexpected tornado took out American Legion Post 265, where we're ending the ride at in Jacksonville.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And for 2 days, we did not know if this was going to go on. Because we have all these vendors. We have this, it was supposed to be an indoor outdoor car show. We had all of this going on. But the saving grace and the bright shining star in this, nobody was in the building when it happened, because if it had happened 3 hours later, it would have been their weekly bingo night, and it could have been very tragic. So because the Post owns the fairgrounds, we just rotated everything outside.
Okay.
Are you projected to have good weather thus far for next Saturday?
Yeah, I've been watching the weather all week, but you know what? We riders, you get your rain gear and you get out there, you ride. Rain, sleet, snow, shine, we getting out there, because weather don't stop this party.
There you go. And it doesn't stop the mission at all.
No,
You
it don't. Mm-mm.
Speaking of, I'll ask the question since Rodney isn't on and Rashi aren't on. During this time that we're going through right now, this turbulent time that we're going through right now, have has there been an uptick in requests for services that you're aware of? Is
Not
there
that I
any?
know of as of yet. I'm pretty sure they're talking about it a lot on the news. Um, Fort Bragg was just deployed out. As they put it on the news that they were going to be deployed out, but I'm for certain that they gone because where I live at, I seen a whole bunch of C-130s taking off, and I'm like, I seen them in the sky, and I'm like, yeah, the news just said they're expected to deploy, but I'm looking at the sky, I'm like, yeah, they gone. And it's serious when in the history of All American Week at Fort Bragg, they canceled it this year. And I've never known that. I don't even think they canceled it during Desert Storm and all of that. I don't think they canceled it even during the Iraq when they entered Saudi. I don't recall them canceling All American Week.
Okay. The other thing is, are you concerned with just not the uptick in requests for resources, but are you concerned with this being a trigger for some folks whom are now home and concerning themselves about their battles, their friends, their neighbors whom may or may not be deployed, and seeing what happens to them? May this time be a trigger for them to unfortunately do some harm to themselves?
No, I haven't seen that, but I have been keeping staying abreast of the news because of one of the commissions I serve on for national American Legion headquarters. So I've been keeping aware of it, but they have been talking to a lot of the members in the military community. They have been telling, one gentleman, he said that, and I quote, this is what he said on the interview. He says that he doesn't even understand why we're over there. He's concerned because he said it's almost like we're going back to Saudi and Iraq again. And now his main concern is his son is involved in it this time.
Yeah.
His son is involved in it. And I get that. Now, my son had thought about joining, but he backed out of it. And I told him whatever he chose to do at that point in time in his life. If you choose to go into the military, go in for the reasons of yourself. Do not ever tell anybody that you're joining the military because of me. Because I have battles that said their children had no choice. They were going in the military. And I said, that's the worst thing that you can do because those kids are going to end up resenting you.
Would you recommend the military as an outlet for individuals now?
Honestly, yes, I would. And I'm going to tell you why. Because everybody's not meant to go to college. Everybody's doesn't have that discipline to go get a 9-to-5 or a 12-hour shift job. I would still recommend joining the military for that discipline and that outlet to be able to travel the world and see things. I didn't say I wasn't exactly necessarily think they're going to travel to a war zone, but I would still recommend that you do because, like I said, everybody is not cut out to go to college. I'm prime example, me, mom and dad, they put me in school, but that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to go into the military. We had a big argument and I kind of won. My dad didn't talk to me for about the first 6 months I was gone, but hey, it is what it is. Now he can't stop telling people that I served in combat and he has a disabled vet daughter.
Ain't that funny?
Very.
Okay. All right. Well, again, is the organization Be the One? Is that national or is it just specific to Carolina?
It is Be the One is the suicide prevention initiative that around the same time that I came up with the idea for my charity event that American Legion National came put into play. And for the last 5 years, each department commander, national commander who's been in place, that has been their biggest push is Be the One, making sure we're checking on veterans, making sure we're doing the buddy checks, all of that. So Be the One has become it's become very prominent within the American Legion. The first day of every month is Be the One day. I know my American Legion post, we get together at Golden Corral. We'll have lunch. We'll fellowship. We might have a speaker. We might not. They'll get up and have me talk about the ride and whatever whatever resources that are available and different things like that. But yeah, it is becoming much more relevant in the community now.
Awesome. Awesome. And I'm going to have you plug it, but I'm going to thank you for your time as well. But please, once again, let everyone know where it is, when it is, how they can help, and how to get in touch with you.
Okay, so next Saturday, April 11th, is our annual Be the One Suicide Prevention Charity Ride. We are starting in Cumberland County at Mac Williams School off of Old Clinton Road. We have a Be the One Facebook event page, so just Google Be the One. Now, when you go in there, you're going to see the Be the One for the car show as well. But if you see the flyer that's in the colors of the Be the Suicide Prevention ribbon, that is the one that'll give you all the information. You can also reach out to me via email, all lowercase, Commander Rayner at gmail.com, or you can reach me at 910-723-0399.
Thank you, sis. We appreciate you so much. Appreciate you for joining us. That hair on fleek this morning too, girl. That hair on fleek.
Thank you. My stylist, she got me. Cause see, I got to be on the news. I got to be on the morning news show on Tuesday as well. So yeah, I'm gonna be on CBS 17's My Carolina's lifestyle show Tuesday at 9 a.m. So
well, it was a pleasure having you.
So Cumberland County, North Carolina. Cumberland County, North Carolina, because there's more than one Cumberland County. So Cumberland County, North Carolina, next Saturday, April the 11th.
Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thomas.
It was a pleasure having you on. Yes. I hope everything goes well. Like I said, I'll be reaching out to you. And go Cowboys.
Yes, all day long. Look, my boy is Tony Dorsett all day long. All day long. I've been a fan since the 80s.
I ain't mad at you.
I respect that.
No, Emmett's I
love Emmett, but we got to go with the Iron Curtain from back in the day.
I got you.
And one last thing, we were looking to do more than what we did last year. Last year we raised over $6,000, so we're looking to do more than that. We don't never set a dollar amount. We just look to increase.
There you go. But how can people donate that aren't in Carolina? How can they do that?
If they get in touch with me, actually go on the web on the Facebook page. We have I have the the address for the American Legion Riders of Post 265. I will post that in there so that they can, if they want to mail a donation in, they can do that. If they don't see that, just have them get in contact with me and I'll tell them what they need to do. They can even mail it to me if they need to. We're still bringing them into the Cash App and Venmo era because a lot of, All American Legion Posts have a lot of older members, so we slowly getting them there.
Oh yeah, I'm like, y'all ain't got Cash App yet? Like seriously?
Yeah, a lot of older people, a lot of older veterans, like they're terrified that something's going to happen and all the money from the post is going to get stolen.
Yeah,
understandable. Thank you again, sis. You have a great day. Be good.
Thank you. Be blessed and happy Resurrection Weekend.
Likewise. Yes.
All right.
Looking forward to connecting with you, Thomas.
For sure. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it work for sure.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Peace.
All right. Bye bye.
All right, Thomas. While we got a couple minutes between guests, my Wednesday did not go so well. I stayed up and waited for the presidential address, and I wasted 20 minutes of my entire life listening to this idiot bumble and stumble and say absolutely nothing other than what he had already posted on True Social. There was no new news out of that. There was no reason to break into your regularly scheduled program for that. It was a whole bunch of horse malarkey, or as Rodney would say, bovine defecation. That's came out of that dude's mouth. I was lying there, and I'm saying to myself, the only thing that happened was, the two things happened. First off, you told everybody about our plans of attack. Stupid. Secondly, you just raised gas prices yet again because you said nothing to calm the general public about what was going on. I don't know about you. I did not have high hopes because I understand whom the speaker is and or was, but I had a glimpse of hope that there would be a de-escalation in this conflict. Yet we come to a situation where two warplanes have been lost to this
Mhm.
conflict. One airman has been rescued, another airman is on the run still. There's a $60,000 bounty on the head of the other airman. We had Black Hawk helicopters shot up. They made it in and made it out, but shot up. We had a $300,000 plane
Mm.
destroyed on the ground.
Mm.
300,000 plane destroyed on the ground. The um, embassy took a greater beating than was let on.
Mhm.
I don't. What don't you? I, I'm confused. I'm just confused. Like, was there any thought behind any of this? The answer is obviously no. Was there any planning behind any of this? Again, the answer was harshly no. You could say there was. There wasn't. There wasn't any, I would say, complete planning, right? So I trust the military. I trust that the military made plans about where, when, how, who to attack. I think that's 100%. But I don't think that the lessons or the warnings about if we attack them, what would happen were heeded. That's what I'm heated. I'm sorry, not heated, but heated. That's my concern. And that's where I'm coming from with the lack of planning because you see now how the strait is still bottleneck. I think a French registered ship it was a French registered ship just yesterday navigated the strait. It was allowed to come through.
Mhm.
And I think we're going to see more and more of that. I think we're going to see more and more ships allowed through that do not help America or Americans. I think we're going to really pay the brunt of this whole war and
Mm.
this whole attack while others will be spared or sparred as long as they are turning their backs to us. And because he's pissed off so many people in the EU, the UK included, other allies, I don't see them turning their back to help us or turning back. I should say not turning their back, but turning to help us. I see them allowing us to suffer. Now, when I say us, we have no choice. We as black people, we as brown people, we as those who did not vote for this joker have no choice but to suffer through this the entirety of the situation because we still live here. It's not like we have an independent grocery store. It's not like we have an independent gas station. It's not like we have an independent textile retailer that is not associated with the United States of America in any way, form, or fashion, who does not gather their goods from a port that's associated with the United States of America in some form or fashion. So we all have to suffer through this bullshit that we're going through right now. Gas has toppled $4 a gallon on average throughout the nation. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. It, we already were suffering through high food prices. We were already suffering through inflated living prices, housing, energy, water.
Mhm.
Now you're talking about inflated gas prices, which are going to trickle down to all those other things yet again. Energy is going to get more expensive. Not just gasoline, any other type of energy is going to get more expensive. You're going to get food is going to get more expensive yet again.
Mhm.
Textiles are going to get more expensive. So here I am walking around with the same sneakers that I had for 3 years ago because I can't afford to buy a new pair of sneakers. Now my drawers got all kinds of holes in them because before I could buy a 3-pack of drawers. First off, let me tell y'all something. Drawers for men are not cheap. They're expensive as hell. Dog, let me tell you, I need a woman in my life to buy that shit. Just take that off my plate. Good Lord. You know how much socks and drawers are for men? That crap is expensive as hell. So
Yeah.
you're talking about taking a $20 pack of drawers, now making a $35 pack of drawers? You don't think I'm walking around with some holy drawers around here? Some socks.
Commando.
Yeah, there you go, sis. Some socks with some questionable toe or heel situation going on around. Yeah.
But they know y'all gonna buy them because one thing men can't take is they testicles scraping up against some jeans. But the most important thing here is that this is our fifth, sixth, seventh go round with this. Every time we come out of a conflict, every time uh, whenever we said something crazy to China, them little cheap toys got more expensive. Whenever we say something weird to, the gas gets more. And we done already got funny with Nigeria who got gas, Venezuela who got gas, Iran who got gas. So everybody's assuming we're on a resource grab. And you got to go all the way back to your fourth, fifth, sixth grade science class to understand what are natural resources, why are they important to a nation. And if you really don't get it, if you really don't know what's finna go down, you could just type in, listeners, um, the United States of America and Cuba, and then type in 2026. What they will show you is how one nation can, if it wants to, it can totally cripple another nation by stopping its resources, its access to natural resources. And so, since we've been getting down real good, Brother Barry, what the world is trying to show us is what it looks like when America, the land of plenty, doesn't have, and it's really gonna get us because, like I said, we known for excess, we
And that's
known
our
for
problem.
the extra.
But
That's
I don't think the world is showing us. This ain't
mm,
got nothing to do with the world. This got something to do with us.
mm.
Arrogance and our ignorance, which is a hellified marriage. And this is what happens when both sides, to the left or to the right. Good morning, cousin Sharon. When people are so extreme to the left and to the right, and then you let special interests, like Project 2025 was there, but without Project 2025, Trump has never been a good businessman, let alone set to be a good president. And the idea that somehow this intellectual conversation about who was a better candidate between him and Hillary Clinton, or him and Kamala Harris, or hell, him and the other guys on the Republican side. You have to dumb down the society so much to get there. Now, here's the problem: when you got dumb people who think they're smart, there's nothing worse than a stupid motherfucker who think they smart. Nothing worse, because they always want to be in charge. They always want to have the most. They always want to do the most, and then they do what he does. When you start losing, you start blaming other people, never owning up for the decisions that you made, the things that you've done. No, you just blame other people. You start calling the justices who are upholding the law stupid, and then you start firing the people that you had covering up your tracks. I just think, Sister Rashi, America has shot herself in the foot with this president. And while we can sit back and look at this war and seeing what's going on with the rest of the world, I just think the rest of the world is just defending themselves at this point because they don't want the cooties. And I can't.
Right. They don't know what to do with crazy Uncle Bubba. And we have to deal with the fact that we in the family of nations have become crazy Uncle Bubba, right? And so now you don't just kill Uncle Bubba, okay? He don't know, but you do limit Uncle Bubba's access to resources. You limit Uncle Bubba's ability to do negative harm to other nations based on his particular feelings as a nation. And yes, I talk about this nation as one thing. One of the facets I think the rest of the world is not really hearing is that most of the United States do not want to be at war. Most of this country is not warfaring. And so what we're doing is we're losing. We're losing the majority of the people in this nation are losing the popular anti-war vote to people who either have their finances tied up in warfare, or or people who have their whole nationalistic ideology tied up in in the ability for America to bully other nations. I just need the world to hear that if you happen to be listening out there, the rest of the world, most of the United States does not want war. And Operation Epic Fury, which is the current battle we're in now, doesn't even have for real all its documentation in order for us to be on such an offensive. Yes, we know that there is nuclear weaponry, right? But we know that about at least 10 other nations that we don't mess with. All right? We know that there's an alignment in the Middle East for Iran to reunite people like Kuwait, Iraq, just everybody we've been really kind of like fucking with for the last 30, 40 years. There is a coalition of people willing to talk to each other for Arab interest, for Middle Eastern interest. Not even that they agree with each other, but they are what they call it, Brother Barry, the enemy of my enemy. You know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, or whatever.
Mhm.
So they're uniting on enemy of my enemy status. Uh, and so what we have created is a coalition of nations who are now silently, secretly supporting each other as victims of United States colonial imperialism, and our force with the military, right? So at some point, you have to decide how many enemies do you want to amass, how hard in the paint are you willing to go, and unfortunately, we got a president who's willing to go very, very hard into the paint.
But I do want to say this because I we didn't get a chance to talk about it last week, and I'm going to curve and throw this out here. It's amazing that black people in this country are not having a conversation about reparations. And I want to say this. This is why we get upset with other people for calling us slaves, but we act like it. Because if it's not a white person's problem, we don't want to talk about it. Anything that's going to benefit us, we have no opinion on. Anything that's going to make us liberated in some form, we won't have a conversation about. And if we do, we don't deep dive into it or something we can't think about. This country, white folks chose Donald Trump because they were upset that they elected a black president who was intellectual. This country would choose to dumb itself down and strip itself bare of riches because a black man was president in this country. And we can never forget this. And I don't want nobody else because I'm just going to say this. Barack Obama was a black man. And typically in this country, when you find success, they try to duplicate it. The one thing we saw after Barack Obama became president is that black men somehow, some way got X'd out of everything and everybody else was pushed to the forefront. No duplication of the process, no pushing black boys towards academic excellence, no idea of saying you could be president of the Harvard Law Review, no idea of conversation about you could also be president one day, right? Even hell, when you die with George Floyd, they don't even talk about the brother who died. They said he screamed for his mama, and let's talk about his mama all day. Never mind the fact that you could be president or you could be victim in this country at the same time. And I'm telling you, we should be having the conversation that the rest of the world is having, and that conversation about reparations is real because we should be trying to repair ourselves because as we see, some people would rather have this country blown up. They'd rather have nothing in this country. And I know we talk about Trump as if there's something something logical going on here. The man hates the country and he wants this country to lose. And if you don't believe that, then you just full of shit and you want the country to lose. He hates the country and they don't care about nothing else. All this other shit that everybody's talking about is just intellectual masturbation. He hates the country. He works for the Russians. The Israelis own him.
And
He don't,
the Israelis.
He doesn't care about anything else. All this other stuff that everybody else is talking about is just a bunch of BS. They don't care whether the gas goes up for. Oh, he said he was going to help you with daycare. He said we can't do daycare now. He lied about everything, and people accepted the lie, and it was okay that he did all of these things. The key to reparations is nationality. Black people have no nationality. That is wrong. I, Once again, and I'm going to say this because I like to be respectful. Nigeria was a country that was made up by the British to be a company. Y'all ain't got no damn nationality. That ain't your country. How old is Nigeria? See, this is when people start talking about us, you might want to go and dig into your own history first before you find some black folks who actually know your history.
No, he's American.
Well, listen, he has a Nigerian name.
Correct.
So he, regardless of the fact he has a Nigerian name, that's not a nationality. That's something that was just as made up as America is. That's just as colonized as America is. And so sometimes because people cosplay and put on African colors and patterns and change their names and they celebrate Kwanzaa, they're no different than the average brother with the last name Joe Smith. We are a nation. This country does not exist without us. The nationality is America, and we can have reparations because the Jews, they just called themselves Jews, and they got it whether they were in Canada, whether they were inside of America, whether they were inside of Israel, wherever else they were at, and they never said they got to be, and they never associated themselves with being Germans. See how we play? We once again, we never really look at the whole picture because once again, we only know how to use what white folks tell us to change the conversation. The rest of the world is saying we deserve reparations. And I want to say this one more time. That conversation ain't new. That's a 25-year-old conversation. September 9th of 2001, they were talking about that in New York City, Sister Rashi. And they were saying that the problem in the world was racism and Zionism. And you know what they're saying today? The problem of the world is racism and Zionism. And they're both saying it again, that reparations is the key across, not just the United States, but across the world. And I wish black folk, whether you're FBA, ADOS, Continental, whatever throughout, they're saying we all deserve reparations at this point. So can we stop the division shit now at this point, since they're saying we all can get a piece of the rock, and not just from the United States, but from the rest of the world?
Well, you would have to be looking at the forums that's handling that. There's about 4 or 5 of them out there that's dealing with reparations and nationalism. One is brother Tyreek Nasheed. He's coming in under the foundational uh, uh, Black American mantra. I think that's right. Yeah. And then there's
Biting.
Say again.
They call that biting. It was
Right. And then you don't start that foolishness.
he's a
I'm just trying
biter.
to. Then there's then there's the Yvette Carnell and the Breaking
No.
Bad family.
Hold on. Let's get it right. Because see, that I want to say that too. Yvette ADOS was first. He was upset because he could not corrupt ADOS, and he created FBA. This whole FBA thing, the foundational Black American thing, is biting from ADOS. And I hate that we say it because I watched them say some of the most vile things to brothers and sisters throughout the diaspora, calling them tethers, musty tethers, and all of this craziness. Listen, y'all, the problem that we got ain't with each other. We don't have that problem. Do we got differences? We do. But I just wanted to point out that it's a lot of, because you have your Pan-Africanist, right? Which I think, Sister Rashi, you're Pan-Africanist, aren't you?
Well, according to the children that I gave birth to, I'm gonna have to say yes.
Well, hey, Rashi, what about
I
you?
mean, I married foreign nationals. No, actually,
So there you go.
it came in. The understanding of what it would take to liberate Africans was not it was not brought to me nationally. It was brought to me globally. It was explained to me that if you liberate Haiti and you leave Cuba, then all the oppressive force of Cuba makes its way to Haiti. If you liberate America, but you leave the continent of Africa colonized, when we get ready to harken back and reunite with our ancestral brothers,
Yeah.
they're not going to have the proper mindset in order to deal with what we're trying to do because they would still be under colonial rule. So the only true way
Right.
to do it is through but I'm a victim to it. I'm a victim, brother.
Oh, don't do that. Oh,
Oh
no, no,
Lord.
no, 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 no.
Oh Lord. How are
Oh,
you a victim, Raji?
no, 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 no. You don't get to do that. You're talking about I'm a victim.
How are you a
Okay,
victim, Raji?
okay, how am I a victim? I believe in a unit and a united African ideology that other people are not ready to pay into. They're not ready to sacrifice for. They're not ready to. But in one of the and Pan Africanism is actually one of the reasons. What Pan Africanists ask us to do is to not hold individual countries responsible for global behavior.
Mm,
Meaning, there's no point in me suing the United States for reparations when even the United States was part. They're gonna put it on England. They're gonna say England created African slave enslavement because at the time when they were really bringing us, it was an American. It was a commonwealth. It was an English commonwealth,
mhm.
and so what? It's hard to explain, but
So,
they
but
play
Rush,
three. They
but
play
Rush,
the 3 card Monty on you.
so
So when
Rush,
you get ready to call the man with the plan to the carpet, there's more than one dude. They start doing the shuffling the shells,
yeah.
all that kind of crazy shit.
But sister, the response that we should always have to that is, why did America pay reparations for what happened in Germany? Because that had nothing to do with the U.S. Why are Canadians? Why did the UK? And these were people who went and fought to liberate Germany. And it's not saying that the Jewish folks there should not have gotten reparations. It is just saying that at the end of the day, we know American business made some money off of what was going on inside of Germany. We know American business has been made off of the free chattel slavery in this country. And then the thing is now whether it was a crime at the time, because let's be real, we have just witnessed inside of America, Bill Cosby has been sued how many times because they went back and retrofitted a law to convict him of a crime or to sue him for civil damages, and not just Bill Cosby, but other men. And this is all inside of America. So to say that something was or was not a crime at the particular time when something took place, the precedent has already been set in this country that you can go back and retrofit something to make someone whole, which is a form of reparations, non-repetitiveness, as well as compensation, apology, or admittance, things of that nature, when it comes to the 5 steps of reparations. So I just think that that should be one of the conversations that we should be having, not only just as adults, but also our children. We should be talking about the full aspect of reparations, though, not just the cash, not just cutting a check, but also how do we repair the damage that we have done to each other as we have been dealing with all of these constraints of racism, white supremacy, and colonial rule, as well as being colonized here inside of the U.S. on the plantation. So I think that it's a good conversation. I think we need to stop saying why we won't get it, and we need to start talking more so why we should get it. And my last piece on it is that understand if we do get it, it's actually better for the American economy. Why? Well, if Sister Rashi needs to buy a home, typically Sister Rashi will probably have to buy that home from either some non-black homeowner or have someone build a home for her. Probably will be some non-black home developer that puts money back into the economy. If Brother Thomas myself wants to buy a car, I don't own a car lot. I don't know any African Americans that own car lots, but we would probably have to buy cars from non-African Americans, insurance from non-African Americans, etc., and the list goes on. So this would infuse more cash into the American economy and actually keep the economy going as well as create jobs. That is the conversation that we should be having versus people feeling like they're left out. No, when poor people get money, That means they have to spend the money so that they can catch up with the people who have more than them. And as Marlon said, they're asking for $1 trillion for more money for Department of Defense. Well, if you took $1 trillion and just put that money back into our community for some form of reparations and allow us to put that in, and let me say this, not debt, because I hear us always say, I would pay my debt. Y'all niggas is crazy.
That is good to have, actually.
Y'all are crazy. Do not spend your money on reparations on debt. You don't pay debt, and with a debt, you spend that money so you can go forward. That debt's going to be there. You can use everything else that you make off reparations to pay off that debt, but you don't use reparations. They owe you money. You're going to pay people back who owe you. It's just crazy. But I'll say it again. That's why we don't have the conversation, because our constraint in our own minds a lot of time is that we owe these people or they don't owe us anything and we're just begging. We put money into taxes. And so we're not begging for anything. We're just asking to make us whole.
And we're not the first. Other people have gotten their reparations, right? The Japanese got their internment reparations.
There we
The
go.
Native Americans got their trail. I mean, it was a shoddy deal. Hey, please don't think I'm talking about equal pay, equal compensation. I never said that. But there has been money paid for the white slave owner who had to give up his chattel slave crop during
Come on.
Reconstruction.
Come
There
on.
has been payment paid to the Native American for their movement off of southeastern lands and to the Trail of Tears, and then double payment,
Come on.
continuous payment in the form of the reservation and the allotment for education and daily living they get monthly in order to live harmoniously in this nation, and the Japanese, who were pulled out of their homes in the 30s and 40s in order to make sure that they weren't enemy combat
Come on.
combatants within the American population. They also have received
Reparation.
compensations. So it's not that the nation doesn't want or they can't. It's that to admit it would, in essence, bankrupt the nation. And so what
How?
you have.
Wait, hold on. How would it bankrupt it? Because we paid for the war in Iraq that had nothing to do with anything. Did that bankrupt the nation?
No, it sent
No,
it in debt. It sent it in debt. And
It's
so
already,
what we're
already in
asking
debt.
there's
for.
It's already in debt. Point
So
right.
It's already in debt.
I
So
am a odd part of the reparations movement in that I do not actually want cash payout. I would like the creation of, I want something more similar to what Native Americans have, in that instead of me having to get cash from you, what I look at is me not having to pay cash out, meaning my medical insurance is covered till death, including if I get asshole cancer, no worries, you'll replace my asshole. And then my housing is paid for, and yes, I do have to live in uh, restricted public housing, but it also is free. No, I do not get a mansion. And if I opt for more improved housing, I have to take my whatever money that I'm able to have, because I work and live within the nation. That is what I up my game with. But the actual basic necessities of medicine, and health, housing, and all that is covered by the nation because of my protected status as first of all, as a default Native American. I ain't trying to hold it. They never did nationwide blood quantifications to see just how many Africans actually qualify for the services that are already being rendered to other people.
so
And then mostly just so that I know I don't owe property tax on my house. I don't owe a medical bill. I don't owe student loans. I
so
don't own it's the removal of debt that's going to be our power,
so I'm
not
gonna
the addition of income.
so I'm gonna speak in the tone of John Henry Clark. What Dr. Clark would say is that the African throughout the diaspora is immature politically. And that's why we've always had these issues. That's why we've always fought amongst each other. That's why we allow these people to play with us the way that they do. If we got reparations, if we didn't build schools, hospitals, and townships, then we're crazy. We're beyond stupid. And I say this respectfully because I say that ADOS with Yvette and Tone, as well as Tariq, has done a poor job of going back to 1863 through 65 and really breaking down what the first original agreement for reparations were. And most black people just don't know it. And I ask that because most of us say we're educated now compared to what they were in 1865, where we all say we have better education now than what they had back then. Would you agree?
I think we have more access to information, not necessarily better education.
Right, because that
To your
teacher
point,
was bonded to us, right? Our
right?
schoolhouse, our church house
I'm
teacher was really bonded to us.
just saying they coming off the
And,
plantation. I'm saying
and
coming off the plantation, not in school. I'm saying, do you feel like we got better education now than what they had back then? Because I don't want us to have a modern day idea. I'm talking about back on the plantation, coming off 1865 compared to now. Would you say that they had better education then than what we got now?
No, no,
So you would
no.
say we have better education, right?
We have access to more information. We have
Okay.
better,
So
yes.
why are we so piss poor with negotiating? Because I'm telling you, every time I hear us talk with an educated mind compared to them, go back and look at what they asked for reparations. And they knew what to ask for, they knew how to ask for it, and they did not mince. How could they get it and we not get it? That's the point that I'm trying to say. They understood it. They asked for time away. They said, hey, we need at least 5 years away from y'all because what y'all did to us mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, we have to get that up off us. And we want land, we want material, we want money, and we want to be able to make sure that you even have guards out there to defend our territories because we don't want to be bothered by what you got going on. And I only bring that up to say, if you, Sister Rashi, got reparations, we should be building institutions everywhere that black folks are at to make sure that if you got cancer, I ain't gonna say what you said, but if you had cancer of the behind, I'm gonna say it that way, I'm gonna clean it up. If you had cancer of the behind, you know, you would be able to fix those things. The other side of it too is making sure that we don't cross-pollinate conversation, because we started to cross-pollinate conversation. It is hard to have a conversation about reparations when most of us is claiming that we Native American. But see, that's the funny part. If the United Nations said, well, we only just giving money for those enslaved Africans, then I wonder how many of us who claiming that they're Indian, are you still going to be Indian? Or you going to change that? Or you going to start saying, well, we all from the motherland? And then you're going to start doing what Tariq is complaining that the so-called tethers are doing. Now you want to be a part of something that you said that you was not a part of at some point if they got it. So I just say we have to ask ourselves, with all of this information, as Leah's saying, we got more information, probably not more education
right.
at this point, probably than 1965. I'm pretty sure we're better educated compared to 1865. But I'm saying we have to figure that out. Brother says people don't stick together these days. Well, it's easier to make you break apart when you don't have family and you don't have the necessities of life and institutions to make you get together.
And that's America, right, brother? Is the rugged individual. I can pull my own bootstraps up.
No,
I can make this happen by myself.
no,
This is an individual ideology
because
that has been seeped into our mindset worse than what worse than even your inferior descendant of a slave.
the Hmong community has been here since the Vietnam War, and they still yield to their elders, and they still work together as a community. The Latino community does that as well. The excuse that we constantly use that it's America, it's not an American thing. It's about how we see ourselves in America. I can respect my elders. I can get all of the stuff that we want possible. You know, that's just what that boils down to. Reparations is not just about the dollars, though. And that's one of the biggest things that I always say. Go back and listen to the original conversation about reparations. It was not about just the money. It was about us repairing our relationship with each other. Go back and study Reconstruction. When America was trying to reconstruct, look at what they were doing, what we were doing, sleeping in ditches, walking to other states, trying to find family, putting our family together, putting stuff together for our loved ones, sacrificing, doing all of those things. We created over 75 towns at one particular period inside of Reconstruction that we never talk about. Oklahoma, Kansas, some parts of Texas, Arkansas. What would they have been if we did not go and start building up towns and things of that nature, all the way up, stretching up to Missouri, where we
Hold on,
built?
Charlie.
Yes, sir.
I want to speak to Cortez. So Cortez, I understand your comment, and I think this is a common comment. But I also want to point out to most people this is a huge misconception. Everyone was not on the same page because you know there was always the bootlickers always trying to get next to masses. So everyone was not on the same page. There were already those who were corrupted by the proximity to whiteness, even then, whom did not want to be around we black folks, we Negroes, whatever you want to call us or call them. The understanding then, I believe, is the understanding that we do need to get back to, which is though for the majority of us, or the more strong-willed of us, however you want to look at it, they understood, to Thomas's point, that we had to put ourselves back together and try to make ourselves whole because of all the bull crap that we had just been put through by them white folks as they had their foot on our necks and that belt or that strap or that whip on our backs, literally and figuratively, as they went out here and they took charge of our whole bodies and women and our children and sold them off up the river, down the river, via train. You know, I love trains. Did not understand the significance in the usage of trains in the slave trade until I visited the Legacy Museum in Montgomery, Alabama. And they talked about how the railroads were built by enslaved Africans. Now, we always hear about the Asians coming over to build the railroads. Well, they did on the West Coast. You never hear about how the railroad was made on the East Coast. Well, the railroad was made on the East Coast by the enslaved African. That is the person who built the vast majority of railroad here in America. Because remember, most of the folk in the country lived on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Be it East and Southeast, don't matter. It was still the freaking East side of the country. So the East side of the country had the most um, defined or dense track of railing throughout the nation. And that was built by enslaved. Now think about this. So you're building the method that would ship your mama, your daddy, your aunt, your uncle, your child away from you. Think about how traumatic that was to those people. Think about how traumatic it was to those children.
Mm.
Think how traumatic it was to their descendants. Because remember, folk talk a lot and you tell stories, and this is how you keep history going. Well, that was our main methodology of keeping history going. Well, you're telling your children's children that your granddaddy built the railroad that shipped you away from your granddaddy and your grandmother and everybody else that you may know. How does that sit well in the soul of that family? But again, to Thomas's point, you have folk at the end of this whole thing when we gained our freedom who searched for years and years for their family in order to put them back together. So I get it, but I don't want us to be um, discouraged by those who don't want to walk the path that we need to walk down. And that path really is us being able to put ourselves back together to give us a chance of being whole so that we can move in a manner that allows those funds to come in our pockets and not turn right back around and go to white folk.
Ali, and another thing too, brother, is that the myth of it has to be all agreement.
Right.
I think that we struggle with that because people do that to us as a distraction tactic.
Absolutely.
You have 10 black folks in the room, 7 agree, 3 don't. And because the 3 who don't agree,
we can't do nothing.
We can't move forward.
We can't do nothing.
When everybody else goes in the room, if it's 10 people in the room and 7 agree, well, you just go with the majority. You don't look to try to find that minority. And so we're always told that it has to be absolute 100% or we can't move forward. That's not how the rest of the world. Listen, only 13% of the colony wanted to go to war with Britain. Only 13%. And when they said F it and they kicked it off with Crispus Attucks, the rest of them just
Black
followed.
man.
And once they got their freedom, you didn't see a lot of them talking about, hey, Brits, we want y'all to come back and tax us some more. We want
And take all this freedom back. We don't want this no more.
Come get this up off of us, right? Come get this freedom up off of us. But that's why we have to be more studious when it comes to watching history and not just listening to the tidbits of what they're telling us that took place, because they sell us the glorified story. There is no love story about Reconstruction with us getting off the plantation, going to find your wife and find your children. We don't want to hear that. We'd rather hear that black men don't care about black families. We'd rather hear that. We'd rather hear that black folks don't love each other. We'd rather hear the idea that we made it to the north, and somehow us going to the north, that it was some nice white people waiting up to the north that they call abolitionists that was waiting to treat us well. That's not true. If you know the story of Minnesota, you know the story of Dred Scott, you got to realize Minnesota, Cortez, where we live, Dred Scott was right here, and he was supposed to get free once he got to this territory, right? But when he got to this territory, what happened? They told him that he was still property and that he had to go back. But Dred Scott wasn't the only person. As a matter of fact, you start hearing about the racial discrimination and things inside of Minnesota. When you think about the land covenant deals, and you think about what happened with the land trust and how they built General Mills and how they built Pillsbury, but black folks were denied those dollars, not only by the federal government, but also by the state. These are all the places. Go look at Pennsylvania. See how the Quakers was treating black folks who got there, who escaped, and they treated them bad as well. They didn't want us as slaves, but they had no respect for our humanity and for our dignity. And they didn't treat us as property. They treated us worse than property in some aspect, because they didn't find any value for us at all. But that's a sweeter conversation than showing us going and building schools and showing us being self-determinant. Hollywood don't want to tell that story. And quite frankly, a lot of us don't even want to tell it or learn it. But we should learn it. We should embrace it. And we should embrace this conversation over reparations on this aspect, because if the rest of the world is having the dialogue, then we should have the grace to have that dialogue too. And I know we talk a lot about Trump, but listen, y'all, we've been here before Trump, we're gonna be here after Trump, and we're gonna continue to, but we have to talk about how can we make ourselves better.
Morning, Rodney. How you doing? I know you walked into a definitely different mess than what we thought, but we took it in a different direction, and we're doing very well with it.
Well, I was hoping Rashi got back. Rashi, get back in. You talking about you want to
she there? She just all quiet
I'm
right now.
here. I just need you to hear that I got a
I think-
different. When I told you that I've been studying since they said the words H and R and 40, I said, "Oh, my check coming." And then I realized how fucking long they gonna make me wait on this goddamn check. I'll be done got a job, achieved something, and came out on the other side before it come out. And then I had to figure out what I'm gonna do in the meantime. What part of the struggle do I hold on to in the meantime? Education, by the way, for those who are listening. And so when I looked at it, it's actually enough to piss you off, brother Barry, because when they know what they did, it's documented. All right, it's not a game. They know that there was something called the enslavement of the African in the United States. They also know that they sitting on the principle. I call it the principle, and that what we spending is actually what we base this nation on is the what they call it, the extra money you get, the interest off the principle. The principle was created during chattel slavery. They came up, and the J.P. Morgan Chase and them came up. The Rockefellers came up. So the robber barons, the true buildings of the nation, they got their money, and now it's time, literally, to get that money back. And everybody's looking around like, "What are you talking about?" It's a the 3-card money game. They saying, "Nah, man, y'all came over in 1590 with the Spaniards. Please ask the Spaniards for the money." The Spaniards say, "Bitch, please. Y'all know y'all had all 13 of them colonies, and that's where it started." And all them 13 colonies was not one nation. Some of it was Dutch. Some of it was British. Some of it was, you know, understand? And then they say, hey, y'all was brought here by the French. That's why y'all parlay and voo and all that down there in Creole. Everything down there past all that other land down there, that's French land. Go ask them for the money. And so what they trying to do is, and it's a legitimate argument because all those nations did bring enslaved Africans to the continent. All of them maintained a theory of inferiority for the Africans they brought. And so when you get ready to start asking who got my goddamn money, they start pointing at each other like it's a Superman May. And so we trying to figure this out. Which one of the Supermans got our check? And they all do. But in order to sue everybody who is enslaved in African on American soil, then it opens up a really sickening bag of worms. In that we have to figure out who in the mainland of Africa benefited from the sale and transfer of Africans, because in essence, they owe down as well. So it's a bag of worms. It's a bag of worms, but I'm down. I'm down. Let's dig them up. Let's dig them up.
So my question is, why do we play advocate for the devil? Like it's the constant conflict that we have. Like that's the whole W.E. Du Bois piece that we do. Like we say we want it, and then we'll say why we should not get it and make that argument for them. And then here's the truth about the argument. It's a nonsensical argument because they understand that the credit system that they use to fill their coffers came off of the plantations. We know that white folks were accredited based off of the slaves that they lost. Can we all agree with that? Yes or no?
Yep.
I do. Yes.
Okay, so that means that there was a benefit. They created a system. Can we also agree that we know across the nation that Jim Crow, Black Code was something that was practiced after this country was constructed?
Yes.
Can we agree upon that? Well? And can we also agree that Africans or African Americans were fighting in wars that benefited this country and filled the coffers for this country?
Indeed. Every war ever fought here. Okay. That's right.
And can we also agree that we were discriminated against and paid less on wages based off of the national practice and laws that were placed on the books throughout this country? Which would have robbed us of trillions of dollars if we went.
Indeed. Okay. In fact, if you didn't have your paper right, they took your war pension. That's right.
Okay, so that shows right there that that's the case, right? Because we do show that there's a nation that had policy in place across the land, and even though they would say it would be states' rights, they did interfere when the states were violating our rights. Not only can you have that conversation, you can also go back, because Brother Marlon said they saying no money left for y'all. Well, we have to stop allowing white folk, and I'm not talking about all white people, but the folks with the microphones to do is stop talking about as if it's going to harm the country. Reparations is great for the country. And I can tell you, living in Minnesota, I'll argue this to anybody. When people are talking about the money that the Somalis stole, I ask the question, if you gave that money to African Americans, would most of that money would have remained in the state of Minnesota? Yes, it would have. We don't have people that we're sending money back to overseas. We may take trips overseas, but we're not going to put our money mostly overseas.
That's right. We don't have an obligation. You're right.
We're going to put that money right back into circulation. When rich people in this country get tax breaks, Brother Rodney, when they get tax breaks and they're able to hold that money, do they spend that money or do they sit on it? Okay.
So you send it out of the country too, so they're not taxed on it.
All right.
That's right. That's what the Caymans is for, right?
Okay, so as you see, I'm making the case on how it benefits everyone, because at the same time, more people will be able to open businesses, restaurants, they'll be able to have more services, and everybody would benefit versus putting money into Iran that you're going to have to rebuild or have to give Israel more money.
That's right. Say it, Thomas. I don't think they hear it.
that
Say
you
it
got to
again.
rebuild, or Iraq that
Come
you
on.
in the Kurds to fire missiles off that you know the Iranians are going to blow back, that you're going to rebuild for them. So all of the don't let me forget Venezuela. Can't forget Venezuela now because we added them to the mix. So now we're going
And
to
Nigeria. Come on.
Nigeria. We
Cuba.
go Cuba and Cuba too. I'm sorry, when we go on our apology trail, we got trillions to
What you say? The
apologize.
apology tour? Shut
Come
up,
on.
Thomas. He
So
said
so
America gonna have to do an apology tour.
so
Oh,
when
we are gonna have to. We are gonna have to.
and so when you look at the $30 trillion that they're going to put on that apology tour, they could have put that $30 trillion back into us.
Thomas,
Yes.
it's going to be 31.5 trillion. Remember, they just asked for 1.5 trillion for the DoD budget next year, so it's going to be 31.5 trillion.
So $31.5 trillion.
What's another 1.5 trillion? You know, amongst friends.
I mean, listen, the debt is almost unexplainable at this point. So let's just make it a paltry 37 trillion. Okay,
There you go.
Let's just bump it all the way up because it's monopoly money at this point. So when you look at that,
I mean, Elon can cover it.
right? but I'm just saying to us collectively, that should be our dialogue. They should never have any room or excuse. And even if you say, Sister Rashi, I don't want cash for myself, I would prefer to have these other things, then we have to also make sure when we're saying that, we can't be saying that in mixed company because we like what the mixed company do. If 9 people want cash and you say what you say, guess what they're going to go with? You got a better sweetheart deal. They like your deal already because they ain't got to put no money and they just got to wait you out.
There's money, Brother Barry, in reconstructing government to make sure that.
But hear me out what I'm saying to you. If you tell them all you want is your student, this is out here, I want my student loans paid. I want free medical,
free housing.
Well, listen,
That's right.
We own the debt. Okay, we can cancel that. It ain't nothing but something made up anyway. We can cancel that. You want health care? Okay, cool. We can give you health care. Now, listen, here's the thing. Health care, y'all know how those plans go. You can have a great plan today, and 10 years later, it'd be a terrible plan. But we'll give you that plan today.
I want a government plan. Give me the same shit that Congressman Fetterman got. That got his big swole head ass up there. Them hoodies still live. I want the Fetterman plan. Fuck the dumb shit.
Hey, we can give you that. And when he died, your plan gonna die with him. So we're gonna give you all of that. And because we know that it's gonna cost us less money, they're willing to make the deal that's going to give them less money. And that's the part that I feel like we don't understand with our advocacy. Sometimes we're letting them off the hook, and you don't go into a negotiation asking for the least. You go into a negotiation asking for the most so that you can work your way somewhere in the middle.
So this is going to be a silly question, but I'm going to say it anyhow. Why do you think they don't want to give us reparations, Rodney?
Because they don't want to give us anything. They've never wanted to give us anything. They've only wanted to extract things from us. That's how we got here. The country came about because of us. We've expanded the country. We founded the two of the top 3 largest cities in this country. Most of this country has to do with us. But why would they want to give us anything when they can have it all? And that's been the narrative. It's not that they lose anything by giving to us, they actually gain. So it couldn't be that. It's simply they don't want us to have it and they want it all.
Sister Rashi, listening to Thomas's argument, why do you think they don't want to give us reparations?
Because it's not to be given. I don't want your fake ass monopoly money. That shit ain't even worth nothing no more. I want policy change, legislative policy that has that 90, you know how they do that long-term 99 plus years, and then in 99 years you redo it for another 99. Because see, you can't do no law into perpetuity. That's what people don't understand. That shit don't last forever. You got to re-up on that shit. And I want us in a constant re-up. I'm just telling you, we re-up on being citizens every. Tell them, Brother Rodney, we have to re-up on being citizens. Somebody come in and sign the thing again to make us citizens and nullify the 3/5 shit and all that other stuff. They do it every 99 and a half. I don't know what the years are, but they have to. Okay, go ahead.
Hold on, Rashi. I disagree with that because the Bill of Rights have been the Bill of Rights ever since this country has stood. Now you've added more to it. Nothing's ever been taken away. So that's a law. And those laws have stood
Right. You
forever.
re-up on it, right? We
There's no
re-upped on it.
no, there's no re-up on it. The Bill of Rights have always been the Bill of Rights. That they've never changed. Again, you've only added to it, but you've never. There's never had to be a instance when freedom of speech had to be read up. There's never been
Right.
an instance
Well,
when the
it's gonna
Second
come
Amendment.
through. Well, we finna re-up on it when we talk about cyber and intellectualism in a minute. We finna re-up on that bitch before you die. So
But
just hold fast.
but there's never been an instance when we had to re-up on the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment has always been the Second Amendment. It never had to. No
Yeah,
one
but
had to
but they
go.
did some funny shit with it when they put the gun in the hands of niggas, especially when they tried to okay it for the war and all that. The Second Amendment was tight, but they still doing some funny shit when we start talking Huey P. Newton and the Black Panther movement, soldiers or the colored soldiers who wanted to fight in the war. They had to massage the paperwork a little bit to get it right. Listen, I'm telling you, I wish I understood it as a historian and I could say it, but I'm telling you what I have learned in time, that even the right to bear arms, depending on what color them arms are. Now we got it. Now y'all can shoot up whatever the fuck you want
Can
and
I
own as many of them guns. But there was a time
can I
when your humanness and your ability to be literate and understand how to operate, they was calling all that into question. And
Right,
so some funny shit had to be done, even to put that gun in your hand, Lee.
right.
But you've been having it so long, you don't know what I'm talking about.
can I talk about the 5 phases of reparations?
Yes,
The five forms of reparations are restitution, which means measures that aim to restore victims to their original situation prior to the violation, such as returning land or cultural heritage. Compensation, which everybody only talks about. Economic payment for quantifiable damage or losses, lost assets, wages, or wealth generation. Rehabilitation, services focused on restoring the well being of victims, including medical, psychological care, legal services, and education programs. Satisfaction, non material forms of repair, such as public apologies, commemorations, truth seeking commissions, and memorials. Last but not least, guarantees of non repetition. Measures designed to prevent the reoccurrence of violations, including structural changes to institutions and policy reforms. Now, with everything that everybody's advocating for the devil for when it comes to reparations, don't all 5 phases of reparations cover all those things?
yeah.
Yeah, and I hate that I do dwell in that last one, what you say, policy changes. And I do believe in that other, I think it's the third one where you was talking about the lawyers and the medical and the blood. I should not ever have to pay for another lawyer. It should already be guaranteed that I have upstanding legal representation based on the fact that but I'm a Neely Fuller person, so all those realms, right?
They
Health,
need to give you all your back
law,
child support, Roger.
education. I want that child
Right.
support.
But
I
but
That's
want. I
but
want.
but,
I
but
mean,
just
wait a minute.
but just imagine when you start talking about certain aspects and you leave certain things off. The people that only want the money. You don't want no land. You don't want non-repetitiveness. You don't want the other pieces to reparation. Oh, you just want your student loans paid off. Well, you don't want the money. You don't want the laws changed. You don't want access to health care. Oh, you only want health care. Okay, that's good. But you don't want land. You don't want all of the things that you need. It's like you're arguing against yourself.
I hear you. If you don't understand the full package
If
and you
you don't
start to parse
if
ways it,
you don't understand what reparations is, you can't do reparations without all 5 phases.
I
One,
agree. I agree with Marlon. Not to cut you off, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't want to go too far. They don't want to do the public apology piece,
well,
which goes
Clinton did
to
it already.
satisfaction.
Well, Clinton did that already in
yeah.
the 90s. He gave the public apology and he got a lot of pushback because of the apology. And this is right around, the HR 40 conversation. So he's given an apology. I think Barack Obama even made an apology, but the apology piece is just a small portion. And they really don't apologize for everything that America did. They don't go into details. But if I'm not mistaken, too, Rodney, I think Lyndon B. Johnson made an apology, if I'm not mistaken. But even with that, if all we ask for is apology and a study, and that's my issue with HR 40. If all we're gonna ask is to give them more time to figure it out and kick the can down the road, and if all I got to do is say I'm sorry, Ask a woman who's been getting her ass whooped by her abuser. He's willing to say I'm sorry.
Hey, okay, them roses be so bittersweet and they smell so good, but the thorns still be on them, and they do in fact die in a few days, just like his apology when he mollywopped the shit out of you again because you took too long to come out to the. It's a vicious cycle, and I would like to speak to that. The whole plan is to kill the cycle. Yes,
Yeah.
we are in a vicious economic cycle of and psyop cycle of abuse between for every all of our realms. Music is a little, unless you into jazz, then if you listening to hip hop, they've been poisoning that for a long time. They've started to poison R&B, which used to be our mainstay. It used to be, oh girl, now it's bitch, get your, get over here in this bed. All of our music, other than the instrumental, has been a little bit disturbed, right? Our writings, right?
Yeah.
We used to write all the time. Black people writing was our communication with each other, and now we have a few, Kahindi, who's writing these days? I mean, tell me who's writing these days.
Oh, it's a lot of people. Shout out.
Yeah.
Sisters, is Hill Harper still doing all that bullshit up in there?
He's still
Tanahashi is still writing. Hill is still writing. Yeah.
Tanahashi is writing.
Yeah.
So now we used to be able to say that we used to could fill a show with black writers, right?
yeah.
But
There's still plenty of black writers.
so maybe we need to
My
maybe
pen
we
game is still strong. I got to get off my ass and get out my way and actually release it. But my pen game is still strong. I'm still
Hey
writing.
man, shout out to William. Wisdom. She just had a book released last week. She Before Me.
she before me.
Yep, this
All right.
a new book that was released last Friday. So shout out to her for getting her penmanship on and getting her book out. But there's a lot of authors, especially here. I met a brother named Marquise Bowie who just wrote a book. I'm sorry, brother Marquise, but he does creative workshops right there at George Floyd Square
Okay.
every Tuesday for African Americans and others to show up and do creative writing to spark that out. But I will say this amount because it's a real funny thing. Ask yourselves this question. We talked about the 5 steps of reparations, but how do we, outside of them repair owing that to us, how do we internalize that as well? Like, how do we repair ourselves minus them? Because
Yeah.
we have all of those non-repetitiveness pieces that we need to solve inside of our own community, where we have way too many of our young people who have been either sexually assaulted or molested by someone that should be inside of their care or someone that they know. We have way too many times that we've had people in leadership that's turned against the people that they're supposed to be leading, to take a fat check, to parachute out, whatever the case may be. We sold each other out when we were in positions to hire each other, and we came up with excuses to say we don't do business with our own people. That reconstruction piece to me, brother Rodney, sister Rashi, I felt like that was us repairing ourselves and coming together to build things. And I feel like we need that aspect again. I don't know if we're going to necessarily sleep in ditches to build churches and schools and other those things. We don't have to do that anymore. But we do need to have a level of forgiveness and atonement that we have amongst each other. And I'm saying this as a person that can hold a grudge like the Statue of Liberty hold that goddamn torch inside of the Hudson. We all have to figure out a way to give atonement to one another and forgive, because life is too short and we got way too much stuff to be doing than to be mad at the people who look like us.
Yeah, the African American, the black, and the nigger. This is the new dichotomy they keep pushing on the algorithm. The African American, the black, and then the nigger. And what we need to is to de-stratify that and understand that what we're talking about is those who have been psychologically abused to where they don't see their place within our woven fabric, those who think they're going to take the fabric and wrap it around their back only, and those who are currently weaving our goddamn ass off, trying to create this super net of love and understanding and networking to show that there is this thing called huge solidarity. We've done it. This is what killed me. If we wasn't capable of this, we'd be dead. Let's call it. If
Okay.
we're not asking for undoable tasks. If black people could not get together, come together, talk to each other from different regions, different language, different cultures, if we couldn't do it, we'd have been dead in the 20s or something like that when the Great Depression happened. It should have killed us all.
Okay.
It didn't hold on because there is this woven fiber. And what reparations is supposed to do is not replace the existing uh, what they call mycellular behavior that we have within us, but it's supposed to get our nation that we have worked for to acknowledge it and to reshape our economy, laws, and legislature so that our culture is able to repair stuff that happened in the past and have an influence on perhaps young people, because unfortunately America gets kind of entrenched in its character. Our young people have to see us work towards reparations, or else even white children won't understand why they shouldn't recycle that behavior and come back and try it again, but harder this time.
Got you. So, Rashi, you said something I wanted to transition to the next thing because we got about 30 minutes left. You said um, the mental and physical abuse. I want to send a extra huge hug out to Pam Bondi. She lost her job just the other day. And, I don't know what more she could have done to save her job.
Because it was the end of Women's Month,
She
so
did.
shit, those ladies had to go.
She did. She did all she could to do a good job for her boss. She made sure she
She
buttered
did.
him up, and
She held the line.
she
Come on,
flowered.
y'all. She held the line. Come on, y'all. She held the line. It was a shitty line, but she held it. Come on, brother.
So for 14 months, she, as you said, Rashi, so eloquently, she held the line. She told the party bus she did everything she could in order to make her boss feel happy and special, but he informed her shockingly that she was fired. And he moved on to his former defense attorney, Todd Blanche, will now take her spot for the foreseeable future until he's confirmed by Congress to be the next Attorney General of the United States of America. I think her plane may have gone with as consolation prize. She may have gotten that on the dime of the American people, but other than that, she's gone. She's out. She's fired. This week saw Trump in chamber as the Supreme Court heard oral arguments about birthright citizenship, something that has, in my recollection, never happened before. A sitting president has never sat in at the Supreme Court while oral arguments were being held about a case that's active that he is trying to petition them to pass in his favor. But what's new? There's nothing new under the sun. This is Trump, and Trump will do anything and everything out of the ordinary to keep the headlines off of the fact that your damn gas prices are going up, your health care has skyrocketed, your job losses are doubling, quadrupling,
And
even
you killed little girls.
right. Even though it's reported that jobless claims went down for the month, then I think that's because more people just are not participating in the process. They've just totally checked out. Like, it ain't gonna change. I'm not reporting anything anymore. That is what it is. He's trying to also still distract from the fact, Thomas, you said it earlier, the Russians own him, and the rest of what's left over, the Israelis own. So, because of the Epstein files, anything and everything that distracts from that, this is why we're at war. Let's be clear. We're at war. He thought this was going to be an easy walk in the cake victory, and it was going to distract the American public from the pains at hand and at home. But it has not. Only thing it's done is amplified it. As Sister Valerie said this morning, now one of her comrades' son is now in the potentially in the line of fire during this war, and his concern is about him. This is what this is about. This is from a guy who promised no new wars. He said he would never go to war with
It's
Iran.
not a war. It's an operation. Operation Epic Fury. You
Okay,
got to get your verbiage right.
understood.
You ain't never had no operation before. You don't know how to operate. You don't know how to
Didn't know.
surgically remove things that are cancerous developments within a
Right,
system. And sometimes it's a whole bunch of little girls at school who barely get to school because of the religious behavior of their family. So they
right.
finally got to go, and so we decided, yeah, let's operate.
After again, I'm trying to recap everything that's gone on this week. So after the federal judge swiped down the fact that the VA could not terminate its contracts with the union, the VA turned around and terminated the contract with the union to only do another U-turn to come back to reinstate its contracts with the union. After a federal judge struck down the bless you Department of the Justice Department's attempts to subpoena the Fed chair. That was a loss for the administration. There were so many losses for the funding for NPR this week had to be restored because the federal judge said that was illegal as well. There were so many losses at the home front for the Trump administration this week. It was not a mind blower to me that he got on television on Wednesday and did that 20-minute rant that did nothing to move the needle for anybody but move it up because of his verbiage during that meeting. I'm sorry, during that interview, during that televised speech, whatever the hell you want to call it. It was a hot
Yeah.
flaming ball of mess.
They made him read that shit though. He read most of that. He wasn't up there ad libbing like he liked to.
Nah, he
They
had lived that. You know he had lived it because he can't stay on message. He can't stay on message because the message tends to be centric, and he has to come across as being emboldened and being strong. So for him, when the message is centric, it looks like it's weak. He has no control over himself when it comes to stuff like that. That's been reported numerous times. I would not be surprised if the actual transcript before they doctored it to match what he said on Wednesday was released, and it was nowhere near what he said. I would not be surprised by that at all. Not at all. Because the thought process moving into Wednesday, everybody broke that they were timid about it, but they broke that he was going to announce that we were pulling out of Iran. So I'm thinking the original release was more in the line of that. They were timid about what they were saying because they know him and his behavior. So they didn't want to step out and then he snap out with some crap like he did on Wednesday and make everybody look like trash.
And can we also be real? Like, they put themselves in a tough place with Iran from the onslaught of
Absolutely.
the attacks. When you attack someone during negotiations, a peace talk, they don't want to come back to the table with you.
And their holy month.
During their holy month.
And you killed the damn school full of girls. Duh. Are you serious right now?
You know, that conversation about peace, that would stop. The U.S. would have to stop bombing at some point and just totally pull back the financial support, because you can't talk peace because they crippled that. And, look, I saw the 20 minutes and I asked the question that I ask every time. I sound like a broken clock on here. But the idea that anybody thought that this was about who was the better candidate shows you how crazy we are as a country. Like, you listen to him for 20 minutes, you understand that this dude right here, he failed the college that he was ripping people off of.
Trump University.
He flunked.
Wait. He flunked Trump University. Nigga,
out of Trump University, man. Right, he just flunked out of Trump University. We just gotta own the fact that's just what that is. I mean, I don't know, was he selling bad steak that he was selling or something? I don't know. But I'm just telling y'all, like, listening to dude, I was just like, man, you're not even gonna address the young people who were murdered?
Nope. Oh, he
You-
said something about them briefly. That the fact that he had went to Dover twice. That's really the only thing he said to them about them.
Because it was the greatest trip ever to Dover that any president has ever made before. The
Absolutely.
greatest, the most beautifulest thing, just the way I walk, looking down at the cracks on the sidewalk, trying to make sure I don't break
The
my
most
mother's
beautiful
back.
cracks in the world. Those are American cracks. Those are American cracks, and as long as they're American cracks, they're the greatest cracks ever conceived by man. Yeah, just shut up.
I don't know if we discussed it, but did we get to talking about Artemis yet?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Rodney, I want you to hit the fact that Army General Randy George lost his job as well because Pete Hegseth thought it was a brilliant idea to remove the Army Chief of Staff during a military campaign.
So I'm sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on him removing him during this campaign?
Shows his incompetency. It shows that he is the secretary of mediocrity. That's what it shows. Because who in their right mind would fire their most experienced military commander when they're engaging in a military operation in one of the most dangerous places on the planet? And the background for firing him is because he wanted to promote competent people that happen to be women and black. Added on to he didn't believe there should have been boots on the ground. Also, the fact that, when you start on television and say, we're about to commit war crimes. Well, who in their right mind that's going to be in leadership that has to give that order is going to give an order that's going to send them to Nuremberg? So, and it wasn't just, it was 3. So it's been roughly 12 people because multiple people lost their jobs. Flag officers lost their jobs that day and that night. So it's a good and bad thing. The good thing is showing that the military leadership, finally, that we know of, is falling in line with Admiral Halsey. And they're not going to continue push unlawful orders. So that's the positive. On the negative side is that as he continues to look for someone who will, because he will fire down till he gets that person that will comply. And then when he gets down to that person that will comply, woe is the world when you have people willing to commit war crimes in charge of the most powerful military that the world has ever known. Mm-hmm. So this should have been, like so many other things, the massive cold slap in the face of reality is that these people don't know what they're doing, and whatever they're doing isn't for the good of this country, and it will bring down the whole world.
This is Easter weekend, and I didn't catch this. Thank you, Marlon. You put this to my attention because this slid right past me too. He fired Major General William Green the same day. If you don't know who Major General William Green is, it's for good reason. He's the Army chaplain. The chief chaplain in the Army got fired on the 2nd. That was Thursday. Easter weekend, you fired the chief chaplain in the freaking Army? For what? No cause given whatsoever. This brother was just terminated. It's usually a 4-year appointment. He got the appointment in 2023, so he had at least another year to serve in this appointment, and he was dismissed on Thursday.
Well, I would say I would be shocked.
I would. Anybody else I would too, but I'm not.
I mean, but this administration, and I wanted to ask you all, even when we had the sister on earlier, I could have asked last week too, what's going to happen with this brain drain that's happening at the military? When you're firing all of these generals, these majors, I mean, we're talking about some high-ranking people. How does the military sustain? And it's long after these guys. if you're forcing those type of people out? Like, what's the process?
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate that, bro. So, bro said these generals are being vocal about Iran. I totally agree with that. And that is the problem. The problem is, to Rodney's point, folks are standing up for what they're supposed to stand up for. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're encouraging others to recognize that these orders are not lawful. They're not. I can't say that definitively. I can say that through their actions. They're speaking to the fact that we shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't be doing that.
No,
Maybe
we can say that. We
okay,
know what is
okay.
lawful and what is unlawful. We
But I'm
know
not in the
that.
room with them, so I can't say exactly what they're saying. But because of what's happening to them, I have to take that into account and make a conclusion based off of the evidence.
But
I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself that there have been dozens of firings of top military officials ever since Pete Hegseth has taken over. A number of them have been black or women, and white males have been promoted in their place. We all know that from the moves that this administration has had, that those moves make sense in alignment with what they're trying to accomplish. The question is, to your point, Thomas, how much further can they go? How much deeper will it get? And will we truly maintain that strong military presence, that strong military force that we've claimed for so long? But that is only because we are so diverse. We have folks whom look at things differently and give solid advice because of their perspective. And then you can get all those things in a room and make the best decision possible based off the information you're given at that time. It does not happen in a vacuum where everyone is a yes person who's saying, "Yep, you're right." That does not happen. When you do things like that, you put our brothers and sisters in harm's way, at risk of losing their lives. You put Rodney's typing right now about the equipment that's being lost. I'm gonna let you get in, Rodney. Um, the equipment's being lost. You put us in situations where you're going and losing valuable assets outside of human life. You're losing pieces of equipment that cost millions and millions and millions of dollars, and or hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And when you add all that stuff up, you're looking at millions upon millions of dollars and the assets that you're losing. So yeah, man, it's a problem. It's definitely a problem. uh but Rodney has said this several times, and I'm gonna let you get in right at that land here, Rodney. The military has two roles in this: either they step up and protect the American people, or they lay down and they suppress the American people. What you got, Rodney?
Mm.
the reality of it is, when the military is asked to do something without giving their operational parameters, when they are given an open-ended mission that they don't know what it is, when they lose faith in their leadership, morale goes down. Once morale goes down, trust goes down. You're talking about people, you're asking people to give their lives for a thing that is undefined.
Mhm.
If the thing is undefined, then that thing that we need to go out and do our job, we lose it. Then you have incidents like we're having. These are, we shouldn't short circuit these losses. F-15s have never been shot down in the history. They've been in service since 1972. Not one was shot down that America flew. We lost three at the very start of the war from friendly fire. We lost an F-15E the other day. We lost Reaper, a a KC 135 went down. When's the last time we lost a KC 135? These are historic losses. We are looking like the Russians fighting the Ukrainians right now.
Yep.
We're spending how many $billions a day? And they're riding around on camels and rocket propelled grenades. When we look at, and let's think about that experience, that general had over 40 years of experience. When you line up multiple generals that have been removed, you're talking about hundreds of years of collective experience. The only way you get experience is with experience. That doesn't, you're not going to get that back for generations. So America, American military, and here's the other one. Every time they follow an unlawful order, it makes it harder for them to do the right thing because they don't want to be held accountable when this is over and the bosses get sent to Nuremberg. They'll be sent too. They are now more likely, remember, they play one or two roles. Now they are more likely to defend the administration because they don't want to go down with the administration. It's time for our governors who control their national guards to say no. It's time for our state legislators to say they won't fund it. It's time for Congress to say they will not send another dime to the Department of Defense, Homeland Security, or the intelligence agencies until this stops. Until that happens, he will continue to do it because it protects him.
So hold on, y'all. We need to get into this, but we need to cut it tight because we have 8 minutes left. I hear you. I feel you. I agree with you. My point always to you in this situation is it's difficult for those things to happen, not at the state level, but the federal level, because at this moment, the Republican Party controls all the levers of government.
They do.
So how do you convince those senators, those congressional folk, to say no to a person that they all are afraid of? They're afraid not necessarily of the person, but of the voters for that person. They're afraid that if they turn their backs to Trump, stand up to him, that their voters will turn their backs to them and not allow them the comfort of coming back into the Senate or the House. How do we convince those folk that regardless of your politics, this is bad for America, period?
The federal government is funded by about 5 states. If you exclude Texas, the federal government is primarily funded by blue states. Those blue states don't have to continue sending that money. You know, we're talking about lives being lost. We're talking about countries being changed. It's time for our Congress people and our state people to put their big boy shorts on and say we're not doing it anymore. Money talks. When we talk about all of these contracts that's going out to these folks, rich people, stop funding them. We have a role to play. This is not where we can do nothing. No, we can do plenty. We just have to do it.
Okay, but we've talked about that before. That is possible. The probability is very low though, because 2 things. First off, it's illegal for them to stop. So if they do it, they are choosing. It's illegal for them to stop. You can look it up. If they are choosing to, in effect, kill their political career. And the problem is you have people who want to run for office, and they understand that doing something like this would be a huge billboard issue. It'd be a huge internet attack issue. It'd be all over the algorithm. David Johnson illegally withheld funds from the federal government. Those funds failed. Because of those funds not coming in, you were not able to get your SNAP benefits. You were not able to pay for Medicare Plan A or Plan B. This is how these things will be used against them. So brother, I agree with you.
He's cutting Medicare. He's cutting Medicaid. He's already cut SNAP. He's
Right.
reaching into Social Security.
Right.
These are things that are supposed to be happening that are not happening. So
Correct.
his threats of what he's going to do should have
Hmm.
no bearing on what we are going to do. And
And
so you
again,
ask, what can we do? I am telling you what we can do. Stop running scared. These lives are at stake, our children's lives. Hey, pretty soon you won't even be able to drive your car because you won't be able to afford the gas. It's over $5 a gallon here.
right.
So, no, this is not about what we cannot do. This is about what we can do. And
I got
these
you.
are things that we can do. And if a person is not going to do the right thing because of their career, then we should do the right thing and end their career and let them know to be more scared of us, the voter, the citizen, the boss, than the dude that's sitting at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
I got you. I'll end it there. Rashi, I'm gonna start with you so we can close out because we have 4 minutes left.
I just want to thank Brother Rodney and the General. I was able to have an absolute fabulous time in Vegas. I came away with a lot of things to read and understand, and pretty much, even though it was the last time I saw it with my eyes, a format by which to bring the gathering here to Kansas City in some way, somehow, and try to find, try to spread that very important message. What did you say, Brother Barry? What are you going to do? We are going to network together, read each other's writings, listen to each other's music, and more importantly, we're going to talk to young people. And so that's what I do. Fellas, I had a fantastic time. I just wish it could have been one of y'all next. I'm gonna think it's gonna be Brother Barry. I'm gonna haunt you and yours next. So get your soul ready for the demon. Anyway, uh, uh, thank you, brothers, for the lesson today. You don't know, but you dropped some gems. First of all, I didn't know about the different types of machinery we would lose, and so I'm gonna go ahead on and do my research. Please have a fantastic, fantastic week, okay, brothers, and I'll finish listening.
All right, peace. Go ahead, Thomas. What you got?
Well, I just want to tip my cap to my sister Candace Ellis, who passed away on Thursday night. I'm wearing these colors today for Candace. This is her sorority or her gang colors, as I would
Yeah,
always
the
call it.
gang members.
But Sister Candace, I met in 2018, maybe 2019, and we just became good friends, man. And I would bounce off a lot of things. Her and Brother Rodney are probably the only people I know that's up during the times that I would be up late, that I could have business conversations with. And she was just, man, just anytime I needed anything or anytime she needed anything, we just made a phone call to each other. We had each other's back. I was in rooms that I didn't have to be in because she was in the rooms, and she was in rooms that she didn't have to be in because I was in the room. And when people say that you can't have platonic friendships between men and women, yes, you can. You actually can. You could have people that's tight. And my condolences to her mother, her sister, and her daughter, who's beautiful, just like Candace, Ramaya. And, I used to be on her mom. I just want to let you know, Ramaya, if you get a chance to see this, I used to be on your mom hard about making sure she paid you the right type of money. I would tell her she was trying to pay you slave wages because, your mom is a cheap Jamaican. But I say that, and I think there's no tears that's gonna be dropped because Candace lived her life to the fullest.
There you
I
go.
call her Miss Can't Stand Still because Candace would be all over the world like Carmen San Diego. She traveled to places that we would just dream of if you're not in the military. But she was a military wife, so I think that started some of the trajectory. She lived in Hawaii at some point and lived all throughout the world. But I just want to say, sister, we're going to miss you. The community's going to miss you. There's not going to be more of you coming around. She was embedded in so many things. I just thank God for introducing me to a person like that. Just like I'm grateful for you, brothers, and Sister Rashi. But man, that was my dog, man. So R.I.P. to you, sister. And man, I'm gonna miss you.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Beautiful, brother. Beautiful. Rodney, what you got?
Big shout out to Sister Rashi and her son for coming out and spending time with us. And to the American people, these are drastic times, and drastic times require drastic measures. Stop letting people tell you what you cannot do, because you run this piece and you can do whatever you need to do to save yourself. And it's time we start saving ourselves.
There you go. And I will say at $350 for two people to go to Vegas at the Luxor to Excalibur, I'm thinking about sending a couple people. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a beautiful situation right now. You got to buy your own damn airfare, but I can put you at a hotel and feed you. Yeah, them prices. We can do some things. You know what I'm saying? Look, y'all. No matter how you seeing this live or later, as always, we thank you, Valerie, for coming on to spread the word about Be the One. We unfortunately were not able to connect with our other guests for today, but that's okay. There's always another time, and we can make things happen. Look, you all be good. You all be safe. I chose this weekend to step away for a minute just to catch my mind and get myself right, because I got some things I need to push through real soon. And I wanted to take this weekend as a reset, to be honest with you. So I'm chilling. And I
he went to a strippers convention. I just want to let y'all know.
Damn, dog. You know what I mean? Look, you all be good. You all be safe. As we always say, if nobody told you they love you, we do any damn thing you can do about it. Until next week, family. Peace.
Hey,
You guys are a mess.
Hey, I would tell you how